name is Michael Tasner, and I'm the CEO and founder of No Joke Marketing for Childcare. So we work with childcare centers, preschools, daycares, Montessori schools, nonprofits, all different types of childcare centers throughout the United States, and actually a couple internationally as well, to help them grow enrollments to the point where they're either opening up more locations or they're building a waiting list. So this is video 4 in a series of 6. In the last couple of videos, I've given you different tactics that you can look at using to grow enrollment, some online, some offline. And in the last video, I really started to talk more about the start of paid traffic and then driving people to a landing page. In this video, I'm going to walk you through kind of step by step how to craft your first campaign, and I'm going to use it as an example, or using one of our centers as an example. So I'll remove the name of the center, but I'll walk you through the logic so you can kind of think things through. So this particular center is in Texas, and they have 2 locations. And when I started with them, so before they became a member, and we call everyone that works with us members versus clients because we don't really like the whole client-vendor relationship. We're more of a marketing partner. So when they became a member, they had about 75 to 80 additional spots for enrollment. And their average tuition for the month, weekly, give or take about $250, $300 a week. So anywhere between, $1,000, $1,100, give or take. So 75 enrollments, you do the math at $1,000 a month, we're talking $75,000 a month, well over $1 million a year. So the math makes a lot of sense to leverage paid traffic. So, the first thing is really better understanding the math. And I'm shocked, unfortunately not in a great way, when a lot of centers, they're in this catch-22 spot of they're not making a ton of extra money to be able to enhance their marketing, but if they have room for 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 plus enrollments, you only need to start to add a couple of enrollments to very quickly pay for the marketing investment. So we started off and we looked at what sources of traffic do we want to use. And we decided to actually launch Google AdWords and Facebook ads at the exact time. Now, sometimes you can look at just doing one or the other. You can do both. You can do other sources in addition, but we're seeing the best results for Google and Facebook. So I wanted to be able to compare the lead cost and the enrollment cost from Facebook to Google, and how many leads are coming in, and the types of traffic, and are they the right parents and families that we were looking for. So that was the first step, is okay, great, we're going to do Facebook ads and Google ads. The second step was identifying a budget. So you've got to really think hard about, what can I afford to invest, assuming that I'm going to start to grow enrollments. And starting with only a few $100s a month is really, really tricky. You typically want to have a budget at the lowest $500 per month, and we typically are recommending minimum $1,000 a month. So in this case, $1,000, we're going to put $500 on Facebook, $500 on Google, so that we have kind of an adequate and kind of apples to apples split test, at least in terms of dollars. So minimum budget $500 a month. If you've only got $100, $200, candidly, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle to really increase enrollment and drive enough calls. Now, the reasoning behind that is that the lead cost. So you got to keep in mind that there's going to be varying types of lead costs. And if you start to back into the numbers, typical lead costs are $30 to $50 a lead for a center. Now, we've got some centers that we're getting leads for $7. Some centers, the leads are $80. So it does vary widely, but an average number to work off of is in that $30, $40 or so range. So if you've got $1,000 to invest, you should be getting at least 30 plus leads. And if the lion's share of those are quality, how many tours do you book, what's your closing rate, and so on. So if you've got some math to go off of, it makes the equation in figuring out your ad budget a lot easier. Because the whole point and the way that we operate is how quickly can we make this gratis? How fast can the new enrollments out-earn the ad budget and whatever vendor fees you've got? Even though I just told you I hate the word vendor, but whatever your marketing partner or vendor is. So you factor all those in. How many enrollments do you need? And in this case, we only needed 3 to 4 enrollments to cover the ad spend and the marketing partner investment. So we launched the campaigns, but where we really spent a lot of time was on the demographics and thinking through our ideal parent, and we built out what I like to call a persona. And that persona is, who is the perfect parent? How old are they? How many kids do they have? What are the ages of their kids? Where do they hang out? Where do they like to eat? What activities do they partake in? The more data that you've got, Facebook, for example, there's so much targeting we can do by leveraging all of that data. And what I like to do initially with those personas is I like to test 3, 4, 5 different personas at the same time. And the reason that I like to do that is that I want to then start to compare these couple different personas against each other. Because initially, everything is all about testing. Everything initially is a guess. You're giving it your best guess, and obviously we've got lots of historical data, so we're not just guessing in generality, but I want to test maybe targeting women between the ages of 18 and 25. If you say, well, we've got some younger moms, but we also have some older moms. So let's test then 40 to 60, for example. Maybe let's test the demographic of grandparents and running an ad to grandparents to see if they want to pay for it for their grandchildren, because there's a lot of grandparents that pay for the investment in preschool, daycare, childcare, etc. So we tested out a variety of audiences, and we loaded them into Facebook and in Google. So we've now got the audiences loaded in. So we've picked Facebook and Google. We dedicated $1,000 a month, $500 on each, and then we built out the personas. The next step was then crafting the offers. And this is where you really have to get creative, and this is one of the biggest mistakes I see people making. Especially with Facebook, you got to keep in mind that you're distracting them. They don't have the intent to go and search for a childcare center on Facebook. So the offer has to be enticing. Restaurant gift card to come take a tour, open house, party at the center, free childcare. You're testing different headlines and ad copy and things like that. So we came up with a variety of different offers to test to those different demographics. You've really got to get creative when it comes to your offers. It can't just be schedule a tour. You can try it, but we've tested schedule a tour, and it does not work nearly as well as, you're going to get a free month of grocery delivery, for example, or an Amazon Prime membership. Testing different types of offers. It's all a test, but I want you to be creative. You've got to think outside the box, because this is a crowded marketplace. It's a very lucrative marketplace, but there's a lot of new centers popping up left and right. Some of the centers we work with, they've got someone within 1/4 of a mile, and then 1/2 mile, and a mile. You might be competing against 20 different centers, for example. So we've got to make sure that we've got some really enticing offers. So you've got the persona developed, you've got a really nice offer, and then what we're doing is we're launching it. And if you think back to the last video, I talked about landing pages. The offer matches the landing pages. So you design these landing pages, there's different tools, ClickFunnels, lead pages, WordPress, for example. And the reason why we never use your website is because there's too many different things that people can go to. I don't want to send traffic to your homepage. I want to send very, very specific traffic to a very specific landing page that matches the offer and it matches the persona. So we might launch 10 different landing pages. And in this example that I've been giving you, I think we launched 7. Completely different landing pages for each of the personas. And then the landing page matched the offer to kind of test and see what was going to work the best. So then what we did was we launched that for about 2.5 weeks, and we tested it and started to find that Google AdWords was pulling a little bit better. The ads were higher quality in this particular case. They were 2 times as expensive, but we were getting enrollments in the first 30 days. And within running this campaign for 2 months, they ended up adding, I want to say, anywhere between 25 and 35 enrollments. So $25,000+ a month of reoccurring enrollments on a few $1,000s a month investment. So it rapidly paid for itself. So that's kind of how we think through the campaign, the mechanics, and thinking about the personas and the offers and the landing page. In video 5, I'm going to tell you, so what do you do if someone's not ready to buy, which a lot of the parents are not ready to buy. So check out that video to get some more tips on what do you do with the people that don't want to take a tour or they're not interested today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you in the next video.